Two Rivers Lad says, in your main segment, you mentioned unmasking Flynn. What does that mean? I thought he was always a public figure. Is this kind of like a Voldemort thing? This was one of the... Today was a long day. It took a while to get done.
Really
because I was trying, doing this video talking about the Obamagate and the unmasking of Flynn is very, very difficult because most people don't know what unmasking means. So I'll give you a quick breakdown for, to answer your question. When the U.S. is spying on foreign adversaries or foreign individuals, whatever, just foreign people, they're not allowed to publish the names of Americans because Americans have a Fourth Amendment right. Oh, I'm here. Americans have a Fourth Amendment right. So when the FISA courts, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance, Act, the courts say like, we're going to, spy on this Kislyak guy, this Russian, then they get a document that says Kislyak said this, U.S. person said this. Unmasking is when they request the U.S. person's name be published for them, not necessarily to the public, not to the public. So when Joe Biden made an unmasking request, what was basically happening was he was seeking to find out the name of a private American citizen that would help him understand the context of this phone call. A lot of conservatives are upset because the unmasking was seen as abuse. The conversation between the Russian ambassador and Michael Flynn was not in any way suspect. An incoming national security advisor reaching out to a foreign diplomat and saying, hey, we're going to have conversations, let's keep everything chill, is completely normal. And even the Washington Post, who published his name, said this is what he should have been doing. So why then did so many people in the Obama administration seek to unmask the name of this individual communicating legally and correctly with the Russian ambassador? That's what people are asking. More importantly, who leaked it to the press? And why did Obama have a meeting about it on January 5th, a day after the FBI moved to close the case and then Strzok intervened to reopen it? A day later, Obama, Biden, Comey, Sally Yates, Susan Rice, a bunch of people have this meeting where Obama gives them guidance. Susan Rice writes this really weird email like, we're just doing everything by the book. To herself.
Yeah, what the heck?
And then on the 12th, Flynn's name gets leaked to the press from the Obama administration. And on the 24th, the FBI writes down in notes, why are we doing this? Do we want to prosecute him or get him fired? Why would the FBI be seeking to get somebody fired? Unless it was true that the point of this was to sabotage the Trump administration coming in. So here's what I tell people. I've had a lot of conversations about Obamagate, and I say straight up, you want to be very careful about what you assert, right? So a bunch of conservatives have said straight up, Obama was trying to sabotage Trump. That's hard to prove definitively, but what you can say is the FBI was trying to get a Trump administration official fired. Ask that question. That's your wedge in the door. The door's not open, but you have that wedge there. I want that question answered. Why did the FBI say we have no derogatory information on Michael Flynn? Then Peter Strzok intervenes and says, no, we'll keep it open. Then in this meeting with Obama, a day later, they cite the Logan Act, a law that's never been used before, which is archaic, to go after Flynn. His name then gets leaked in the press. Here's my personal opinion. The FBI is going to close the investigation. Peter Strzok intervenes. In the meeting with Obama, Comey mentions the Logan Act. They then start basically going after Flynn on the Logan Act. In the Washington Post article that finally published Flynn's name, they do also mention the Logan Act. I think that seeded the information to Flynn, who panicked, and then in a informal meeting ended up lying about what he had said. The FBI used that against him, and they said in their notes, is it to get him fired or prosecute him, or, what are we doing here? So it seems like it was kind of a setup. It seems like Flynn may have made a mistake, but it seems like they were going after him. He panicked. And then, look, perjury, like Obama claimed it was perjury. If it was perjury, that would have been under oath in a formal investigation. Flynn, this was not the case. Apparently, it was an informal meeting at the White House, and they were like, we got you now. You lied. Why was he unmasked in the first place? The FBI said no derogatory information. What was their reasoning for extending this and trying to use a law that's never been used before? Stands to reason, malintent. However, all you really need to say, if anyone's asking, is why did the FBI want to try and get Flynn fired? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. That is not what the law enforcement agencies are supposed to be doing. After that, there's some serious questions that need to be asked. If the FBI was trying to get Flynn fired, then why did Joe Biden seek to unmask the name of Michael Flynn? I'm not going to make any accusations against Joe Biden. I don't know why he made on January 12th, the same day the name got leaked to the press. I don't know. But I think it's grounds for some questions, maybe some written testimony or something. There was no grounds, we now know, for the Russiagate investigation. If that was the basis for a sound investigation, according to many of these resistance anti-Donald Trump types, then we also have substantially more grounds for an investigation in the other direction. I am not thrilled about the incoming Lindsey Graham hearings that's going to be happening. To me, that sounds like it's going to be boring. I am interested to know what they were doing and why they were doing it. And the only thing I can really say is it would be, in my opinion, improper of me to argue that Donald Trump shouldn't have his own special counsel to investigate why this, fictitious claim was levied against him, why for 3 years these individuals who had no evidence, who admitted under oath had no evidence, were lying about him. I wonder if at the very least there's a defamation charge that could be levied. But if I entertained Russiagate for years, and I did, then it would be unfair for me to say we should not have an investigation to dig into the origins of this. There's a few really important points. One is that the dossier they used as a large portion of their pretext to start the Russia collusion investigation into Trump, which ultimately turned up nothing, was seeded with Russian disinformation. Even socialist magazine Jacobin has said the Democrats were pushing Russian propaganda. We really need to understand why that happened. So we've got the John Durham investigation, which is now criminal probe. They're going to be investigating a lot of things. Maybe there'll be indictments. I honestly don't know. The Horowitz report proved FISA abuse. This proved Evan Nunes was right. And now we're going to hear about, we're going to have Lindsey Graham's, did I say Lindsey Graham? It's Lindsey Graham who's going to be doing these panels. I don't trust that guy. We'll see how this plays out. But anyway, long story short, perhaps these resistance people shouldn't have asked for these, set these rules in play. This was the grounds for which they said we should have a special counsel investigation into the Trump administration. And now we have more evidence to suggest that Barack Obama was involved. To what degree, we don't know. Some people are arguing that's a bigger scandal than Watergate because Obama knew about this when he shouldn't have. His own chief of staff sought unmasking of a political rival. It's very, very, very complicated. But at the very least, there is more evidence to suggest wrongdoing here than there was in the Russia investigation. If we all entertained Russia, it would only be fair to entertain something in the other direction. I don't like the hearings. I think they're boring. I think they're bad for this country. But if that's what we're going to get, then so be it. The left, Biden, Me Too, all that stuff, they argued for all these rules, and they got the rules they asked for. They said, believe all women. Now that it's affecting Joe Biden, they're throwing it all out the window. I'm not going to play that game. If you put the Republicans and the conservatives through this whole thing and the Trump supporters, and the Trump supporters say, okay, now it's only fair that we get our investigation, what's the argument? Yeah, I'm sorry, that's the case. So this turned into something a lot longer based on the question of unmasking. But I got it all out.
That was a valid question.
It was tough earlier today because trying to do a segment that walks everyone through, it would have been 3 hours. Like I started and stopped so often because I'm like, man, I got to explain how the FISA courts work, the FISA abuse, 2012, 2011, NASA, NSA, FBI.
And you even said nobody knows what unmasking is.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, I'm glad you had a chance to explain it though.
So maybe that will be its own segment. We'll see how that plays out. Let's read questions again.
Oh, yeah, I was chatting with the chat. I was just hanging out.
That works.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
Lindsey Graham, I don't think will end up doing anything, so we'll see how things play out. Jamie says, "Thanks for not being fake news. I always think you're as objective as possible. Here's some money. I really appreciate it."
Nice.
I try to just be I don't care if Trump wins or loses. I really don't. I don't like the idea of Biden. I don't like the idea of Hillary Clinton. But in 2016, when it was like Trump versus Hillary, I don't care. I really don't. And so when it comes to who's right and who's wrong,
I think you might have said to me in 2015 sometime that you would prefer Trump winning. But only the only reason you said is because it would be great for news.
I think
you're like, will enjoy watching it happen.
The one thing I said all the time,
light it all on fire.
No, the one thing I said all the time in 2015 was, if you like the status quo, then you want to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Like the war, the intervention, and the American economy, like the way the machine was churning, it was enriching a lot of elites.
True.
And I was like, but if you want, it's a long spiel I used to go on to people. Like if you want to see either a complete disruption of the system, a challenge to the status quo, or you want to see America it's basically Hillary Clinton was the interventionist candidate.
Yeah.
So it's like if you like everything we're doing overseas, the Middle East, the oil exploration, the seizing of, the deposing foreign governments and things like, removing foreign governments and stuff, Hillary Clinton was your choice.
Oh, politics.
Yeah. But if you wanted something different, or you want to watch the world burn, you vote for Trump.
Yeah.
But Trump is, I think my assessment back then was actually incorrect because Trump really bolstered America and like made it work really well.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify. And we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.